Hi everyone. Today our presentation focuses on marriage and divorce trends in India. Our central research question is, how do early life social factors and marital dynamics predict the likelihood of divorce in marriages in India? We were motivated by the fact that India has the lowest divorce rate in the world, and we think understanding the patterns behind this could inform relationship counseling, policy, and education. Our data comes from Kaggle, where it was web scraped from online sources. The original curator is unknown, and each observation in the dataset represents one married person. It was updated 2 months ago, so it's fairly recent, and shown here are some key variables in the dataset. We began with exploratory data analysis to better understand divorce patterns. On the left, the bar graph compares marital satisfaction to divorce status. Individuals reporting high satisfaction had the lowest divorce rates, but surprisingly, divorce proportions across satisfaction levels don't differ as much as we expected. On the right, the density plot shows how divorce varies by years since marriage. We noticed that longer marriages have higher divorce proportions, but in the early years, people tend to stay married.
So for the analysis portion, we mainly use modeling to examine and interpret our data just to see what societal and marital factors affect divorce in Indian couples. So we wanted to start by looking at how the moral and cultural aspects apply to divorce rates. So we started with parent approval, age of marriage, and religion as our predictors. And then for our second model, we just wanted to see how the quality of a relationship impacts divorce. So we just had marital satisfaction as our predictor. And then for our third and final model, we wanted to incorporate all of the data variables um, to basically see how they can all be used as predictors to maximize predictive power and to see if divorce rates are more affected by a multitude of factors or rather than just a specific reason or predictor. So in order to prepare the data, we converted out categorical factors and made our outcome variable divorce status binary. Then with the models, we used ROC curves and classification summaries with false positive and false negative rates to evaluate the model's highest performance.
And here's the RC curves that we use for the divorce prediction, with the lowest one being the one that uses only marital satisfaction, and then slightly better is the one that uses all the 17 variables, and then the one that performed most was the one that uses the three variables: parental approval, age at marriage, and religion. But also none of this has an AUC that is greater than 0.52, which means for all of them, it's almost equal to randomly guessing at how any of these predictors do a good job for divorce prediction.
So before discussing our results, we quickly wanted to acknowledge that our data set was obtained from a reputable source, but the original curator of the data is unknown, which limits our ability to verify collection methods and context. During our exploratory analysis, we found several limitations and gaps within our data sets. So within these constraints, we have drawn the following conclusions based on the data that we had available. So our research gave us three key takeaways. The first is that marital satisfaction seemingly has very little effect on divorce status. Marriages with poor, partial, and high satisfaction all have very similar and comparable divorce statuses, which gives us insight into the cultural norms in India. Divorce is generally less common when compared to Western states like the United States, and we can look to cultural normalities, economic ties, and social traditions to explain this difference. The second is that during the first 10 years of marriage, divorce status is lower, indicating cultural and societal norms. Surprisingly, there's a small rise in divorce density around 40 years, which could reflect later in life divorces, known as gray divorces. And lastly, while the logistic regression model that we use using religion, age at marriage, and parental approval had the highest AUC, its overall performance is equivalent to guessing, which suggests that all of our models lack some intuitive predictive power. And lastly, just to conclude and talk about future work, if we were to continue this project, we'd want better and more complete data. While we found some really promising predictors, they don't tell the whole story based on our AUC estimates. Relationships in divorce are rarely caused by just a single factor, and we're definitely aware that there are a lot of other factors at play that could have been used to also determine divorce status. We'd also want a bigger and more diverse sample, one that really reflects the variety and the diversity of India's cultures and religions. And here are our citations. Thank you for listening to our presentation.